Hello everybody, in this video we take a look at Swordsman VR and I'm reviewing the Apple version for MetaQuest VR headset playing on the MetaQuest 2. The game features a campaign. As you can see, you can choose your main story in different areas and you unlock more as you progress. You can also get XP as you continue combating and invest it in improving your character stats. Now the game can be played both seated and in standing position. Just keep in mind that if you are playing in standing position, you need to calibrate your height before starting the game. Now I play many melee combat games and this game suffers from the same issues that I feel with the other one, that fighting feel a bit rubbery and just hit detection doesn't really feel right. And again, this is the problem not just with this game but in many games. But in some ways it does it better than others, but it doesn't mean that it's perfectly implemented, far from it. And you can actually see in the gameplay that the intersection between the weapons is weird. Same goes when the weapon intersects with the body. Again, it just feels that something there is just not right. And basically it leads to a situation where you really don't feel kind of the weight of the weapon, again in quotations. And I think one of the ways to solve it is make sure that the collision can actually lead to something that, a reaction that is appropriate from the AI, and also make sure that the AI fights in a way that it doesn't lead to this type of weird collisions. And basically you find many situations where, with the collision, where even if you feel like you're stopping the enemy, it just will continue doing its attack animations, and this would lead to very, very weird and sometimes very funny looking situations. And eventually I just felt like I'm using a rubber sword and just attacking an enemy, like in real life you have a rubber sword and you're attacking and it doesn't really feel punchy, strong, and you have an impact. Well, that's how it feels like basically. And of course things get much more exaggerated because you're doing it in a first person perspective. So it feels like, when you have two boxers fighting each other, they're very tired already and they're just leaning against each other, very, very close. I mean, it feels like it in a way. There's also an arena mode, kind of a gladiator mode. So this is the one. And you can see kind of weird, they drop the dynamic shadows, so you can actually see the shadow on the character, but on the pillars in the arena you can see shadows. But because this is fixed, so probably due to performance reason, because this is running on the MetaQuest 2, this is not the PC VR version, maybe that's the reason. But it's just awkward, the things that I personally prefer seeing shadows, you don't see shadows, so kind of really poor in that aspect. Now sound effects are good, but with this type of metagames, I have to tell you that it's super important to nail those micro optimizations of the animation, the hitboxes correctly, and the AI, otherwise it just will feel awkward. It's super important. This is the thing that the most important. I don't care about even shadows here. As long as the developer is able to nail that correctly, it will lead to a good gameplay experience. Otherwise it will just feel awkward, at least to some players. For me it did. Now, if you're a dev, I have a gigantic tip for you. You can just go totally spaghetti, and it works. It works in Gorn. It was actually amazing. So, I mean, why not? But if you do that, well, you need to do something kind of extreme, right? You know what I mean. The games also feature some mutilation, which is cool, by the way, because sometimes I bring certain weapons and I'm trying to hit a certain place. For example, if I see that the end is exposed, I can go and, well, this is just a finisher. And if, for example, I see that the neck is exposed, I would try to hit it, and I can probably get a quick win if I do so, which is really nice. And by the way, in the campaign, you are able to pick up weapons that the enemies drop as well, which is pretty cool. Here, if I finish an enemy, I just move on to the next one, and the next one, and each one, of course, will become harder and harder as I progress. You also have the option to kick by pressing A on the controller, on the MetaQuest controller. Which can stun enemies, and also if you increase this ability, again using points that you get, you can even improve this ability to stun them for longer. There are many different things that you can actually upgrade to improve your ability in combat and to be able to outcome and defeat tougher enemies. Now there is parrying in the game, and on successful parrying you'll be able to kind of get a slowdown time, kind of bullet health, which allows you to kind of maybe move around the enemy and try to hit them from the back or just put more hits. It's pretty cool. Now the cool thing is that different warriors from different areas, and again, if here in the campaign they drop either maybe the shield or the weapon or the katana, you can actually pick it up and fight with it. Now in a moment you can see me actually parrying an attack, look. Now it depends on the weapon, in some situations just for the combat felt more fluid and the hitboxes felt right, but again in some cases not. So it's not like all the time it just feel like that. So in this, for example, combat when I fought this samurai, it actually felt pretty good. Now sometimes you can find more than one enemy, but the fact that they're intersecting with each other in terms of 3D model is kind of weird and not something that I want to see in the game. Because it really needs to be immersive and more realistic in that aspect, and it just felt awkward when they kind of just pass through each other. And I haven't mentioned, by the way, about the music. It's pretty nice, kind of having it in the background, doesn't distract you, and it's cool, it's cool. Nice music for each area that kind of fits the era of the time. Now, maybe some of you don't like it, but this game can be really good for workout. I mean, if you're going to move your hand quite a lot in this game. So if you're looking for a game to do workout and you love melee combat, well, I think you're going to enjoy it. I mean, definitely I didn't put the air conditioning on and I sweat quite a lot after quite some time playing it today. So overall, yeah, I really like the RPG elements in the game and the ability to progress. I like the selection of weapons, the ability to pick up weapons that enemies drop in the campaign. The different campaign stories are really nice. I didn't like the graphics, by the way, but again, I'm playing this on the Quest 2. So for Quest 2, it actually looks okay. I mean, but nothing really special. So when it comes to hitboxes, again, it's far from being great, and unfortunately, same to many other melee games. And you know, for example, look at this moment where the sword just got stuck in his face, and again, I didn't leave the controller, I just pulling back, and it just led to a very awkward looking scene. So whether it's that bad, well, in comparison to some others, I played worse. But again, it's okay, but there are ways to optimize it to make it feel better, in my opinion. But do I enjoy playing it? Yes, because again, the other things that really kind of encourage you to play, to get different weapons, to upgrade your characters. The combat felt good, but it's not difficult. I mean, probably even on the higher difficulty, you're gonna find that you know, it's really not that hard. AI is not that smart here. So this is just for comparison. Gleamlord by Metal Cat Studio. This is a PC VR game. It's kind of like feels like a Dark Souls game, but in VR, kind of. But the combat there felt awful. I just didn't enjoy it at all. So if I compare it, for example, to the melee combat in Swordsman feel better. Not that both of them are really great, but definitely felt much better. This is much more rubbery. The hit boxes felt off. Sometimes the weapon just passed through the enemy. I don't know. It just felt bad. And actually, this led me just to drop the game and not play it. I just didn't enjoy it at all. Whether with Swordsman, I did enjoy the melee combat, but I do see the issues that those games have and things that are in common that needs to be addressed for both of these games. Now back to Swordsman, I can tell you that it felt much better compared to Gleamlord. Actually, Gleamlord I couldn't play, I just didn't enjoy the combat. I felt really disappointed because everything else looked actually pretty good. But when it comes to combat, the actual gameplay, it just felt way off for me. Now it is important to mention, but Gleamlord is in early access. In Swordsman, the version that I'm playing is an app lab, so it's not like the final version of the game. So again, I have no doubt that developers will put emphasis in trying to further optimize this, because this is the game. This is a melee combat game. It's all about the mechanics and the physics of this game. If they nailed it right, players will love it. If not, probably many won't. And this is especially true for this game, where there are little arenas, and again, it's not really important. What's important is really how combat feels when you are facing the enemy. And most of the effort should put actually into improving that. So I do hope to see improvement, but right now, again, it's okay, but not great. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed my review. Consider leaving a like and subscribe. And just so you know, again, this game is also available on Steam. So if you want the PC VR version, you should check it out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.